There's a habit that almost no one talks about. It doesn't trend on social media, it doesn't make noise, it doesn't demand attention, yet it has built every great mind in history. It's called silence, intentional silence. When the world screams for speed, silence teaches patience. When everyone wants to be seen, silence builds power unseen. You can't hear your true thoughts in chaos. You can't build a strong mind if you never sit still long enough to understand what you're becoming. Napoleon Hill wrote that every success begins with a thought, but most people never hear their real thoughts because their minds are drowning in noise. From the moment they wake up, they're surrounded by distractions, notifications, voices, expectations. Their minds become a battlefield, and silence is the only weapon that brings order to the war inside. Think about it. Every inventor, leader, and creator had a period of isolation. It wasn't loneliness, it was construction. They weren't avoiding the world, they were preparing to reshape it. When you sit alone with your thoughts, uncomfortable truths rise. You meet the version of yourself you've been avoiding. That's where change begins. But silence isn't just about quiet surroundings. It's about inner control. It's learning to calm your emotions, to choose your responses, to separate what's real from what's noise. Most people react. The strong ones reflect. They respond with intention, not impulse. Silence builds clarity, clarity builds direction, and direction builds unstoppable momentum. If you want to develop an unshakable mind, don't run from silence. Seek it, schedule it, protect it. Because in those quiet moments, when it's just you and your thoughts, that's when you start hearing the truth about who you are and who you're meant to become. The mind grows not in noise, but in stillness. And when you master stillness, the world can no longer control you. Stillness isn't easy. It sounds peaceful, but it's war. The moment you decide to sit in silence, your mind starts fighting back. Thoughts rush in. Regrets, fears, unfinished dreams, all the noise you've been avoiding comes to the surface. That's why most people can't do it. They can lift weights for an hour, but they can't sit still for 5 minutes. But stillness isn't about doing nothing. It's about mastering your attention. It's training your mind the same way an athlete trains their body. Every time you bring your focus back from distractions, you're building mental muscle. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you're sharpening your edge. Napoleon Hill said, "Control your own mind and you may influence the minds of others." That control begins in stillness. The person who can master their own thoughts becomes unstoppable because no criticism, failure, or fear can shake them anymore. Look at any great thinker or performer, they all had a ritual of silence. Edison would sit in a dark room for hours, letting his mind drift until the idea appeared. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, wrote his deepest thoughts alone before sunrise. These weren't coincidences, they were habits. The mind reveals its power only when it's not being pulled in 100 directions. Stillness is a discipline, and discipline is freedom. You can't hear your intuition when you're constantly reacting to the world. You can't access creativity when your brain is always in defense mode. You have to slow down to speed up. At first, silence feels uncomfortable because it exposes truth. It shows you your fears, your weaknesses, your wasted time. But the more you practice it, the more strength it gives you. You start seeing patterns, why you fail, why you procrastinate, what truly matters. That awareness is power. Every morning, spend a few minutes in complete stillness. No phone, no music, just breathe and listen. You'll start to feel a strange shift. Your emotions will calm, your focus will sharpen, and your decisions will carry weight. The strongest minds in the world aren't the ones that know the most. They're the ones that stay still when everything around them shakes. Stillness is not the absence of motion. It's the mastery of it. When you can command your own attention, you've already separated yourself from 99% of people. Because in a world where everyone reacts, the one who stays calm leads. Isolation is often misunderstood. People think being alone means being lost, broken, or forgotten. But the truth is, Isolation is where transformation begins. Every great leader, thinker, and visionary had to walk through solitude before they could lead others. When you're alone, there's nowhere to hide. The excuses you used to blame on others stop working. The noise fades, and what remains is you raw, real, and exposed. That's the moment most people run from. But that's the exact space where the strongest minds are built. Napoleon Hill called this the workshop of the mind. When you withdraw from the world, even for a short while, you enter the place where thoughts become ideas, and ideas become power. The mind needs solitude the way the body needs sleep. Without it, you burn out chasing noise instead of purpose. David Goggins says it differently. He calls it the dark place. The time when you strip away every distraction and face the voice inside that says, "You're not enough." That voice doesn't disappear by running from it. You silence it by proving it wrong again and again. Isolation is your test. It's life asking, do you really want this? When no one's watching, will you still train, still study, still build? Or do you only move when someone's clapping? Greatness is forged when no one sees it because that's when it's real. But don't mistake isolation for loneliness. Loneliness drains you. Isolation builds you. Loneliness is the absence of others. Isolation is the presence of yourself. When you learn to enjoy your own company, when you can sit with your thoughts and feel peace instead of panic, that's power. The problem is, people are addicted to distractions. They can't drive without music, can't rest without a screen, can't sit still without noise. But when you finally disconnect, you start hearing something you've ignored for years, your inner voice. And that voice doesn't lie. It tells you where you're wasting time. It tells you what needs to change. It reminds you of your mission. Isolation gives you clarity. Clarity gives you confidence. Confidence gives you direction. And direction builds unstoppable momentum. You don't need the crowd. You don't need approval. You don't need noise. You just need silence and the courage to listen. Because when you master isolation, you don't just survive being alone, you thrive in it. You become dangerous, focused, grounded, unshakable. And when you finally return to the world, you come back with something rare, a mind that no one else can control. Pressure is the true measure of the mind. Anyone can stay calm when life is easy, but when everything starts to collapse, when plans fail, when people leave, when nothing seems to work, that's when your real strength is tested. Pressure doesn't create weakness, it reveals it. And if you use it right, it builds something even stronger in its place. Napoleon Hill believed that adversity carries within it the seed of equal or greater benefit. In other words, pressure is a hidden gift. It forces you to grow in ways comfort never could, but most people run from it. They feel discomfort and quit, not realizing that the pain they're escaping is the exact thing that would have transformed them. The mind that can stay calm under pressure is unstoppable, because when you stop reacting, you start thinking. You make decisions others can't make because they're ruled by emotion. You see opportunities others miss because they're too focused on the problem. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary composure and chaos. Think of a diamond. It's just carbon until it's crushed by unimaginable pressure. That's what life does to you. It squeezes you, it breaks your comfort, it tests your limits. But if you don't give in, that pressure doesn't destroy you, it refines you. Every challenge becomes a sharpening stone for your mind. When you train your mind to handle pressure, you build mental calluses, layers of strength that protect you from breaking. David Goggins talks about this constantly. You can't think your way to toughness. You have to earn it. You earn it by enduring what others run from. Pressure doesn't ask for permission. It arrives without warning through loss, failure, criticism, rejection. And in that moment, you have two choices: react like everyone else or respond like someone different. The first path leads to panic. The second leads to mastery. The key is awareness. When you feel pressure, pause. Breathe. Don't let your emotions make the decisions. Observe them. Turn that storm into data. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What skill is this pain trying to build? That mindset changes everything. Because the truth is, you can't control the weight life puts on your shoulders, but you can control how strong you become beneath it. Pressure builds presence. It forces you into the now, into focus, into the truth. And once you master that feeling, once you realize you can handle it, no challenge will ever intimidate you again. The mind that thrives under pressure doesn't look for escape. It looks for growth. It doesn't ask for things to get easier, it demands that it gets stronger. And when you live that way, life can't break you anymore. It can only forge you into something unstoppable. Strong minds aren't built once they're rebuilt over and over again. Every time life knocks you down, you have a choice to rebuild or to remain broken. The difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck isn't luck, talent, or education. It's the habit of rebuilding.